The ruthless reality behind every throne, beneath every kingdom, every empire, every corporation, every home, there lies a truth so raw, so brutal, most cannot bear to face it. Power is never gifted, it is seized, and it is never seized by the gentle, the merciful, or the naive. It is seized by those willing to see humanity not through the soft light of hope, but through the harsh, merciless mirror of reality. Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. He stripped away the comforting lies, the myths of fairness, of virtue, of justice, and revealed the naked machinery that drives people. Fear, ambition, self-interest. He dared to say aloud what the world still tries desperately to deny. The strong rise not because they are good, but because they are willing to do what the good will not. This is the ruthless reality behind every throne. To hold power, you must be willing to bleed for it. You must be willing to be hated. You must be willing to abandon the childish need to be seen as good. Power does not belong to those who deserve it. It belongs to those who are willing to pay its terrible price. And yet, most people spend their lives pretending this truth isn't real, clinging to illusions, surrendering their freedom inch by inch, all because they are too afraid to confront the battlefield they were born into. But you, if you are here, you are ready to see, ready to step beyond the lies, ready to awaken the cold, clear vision that Machiavelli once offered to those brave enough to look without blinking. Because only when you see power for what it truly is can you ever hope to wield it. Illusion of goodness. Why morality is a mask worn by the weak. Since the dawn of civilization, we have been taught that goodness is strength, that morality is a virtue, that playing fair will protect you, that being kind will save you. It is a lie, a beautiful lie designed not to empower you, but to tame you. Machiavelli knew what most could never admit even to themselves. Morality in the hands of the weak is not a virtue. It is a mask, a desperate attempt to cover fear with righteousness, a last-ditch effort to survive in a world that devours the slow and the sentimental. He saw that those who cling to virtue, who blindly follow the rules written by others, are not crowned kings. They are trampled beneath the boots of those bold enough to shatter those rules when they no longer serve them. The harsh truth is this. The world does not reward the most virtuous, it rewards the most strategic. Those who rise to power do not obsess over appearing good. They understand that appearances are tools, masks to be worn and discarded as needed, weapons sharper than any sword. True power comes from knowing when to be seen as virtuous and when to be ruthlessly, mercilessly pragmatic. The ones who win the game of life are not the ones who cry for fairness. They are the ones who realize there is no fairness. There is only the will to act and the strength to bear the cost. The illusion of goodness is seductive. It whispers to you that if you are just kind enough, patient enough, selfless enough, you will be rewarded. But in reality, those who wait for the world to reward them are left behind, bitter and broken, wondering why their goodness was not enough. Because it was never enough. Goodness without power is a prayer whispered into a storm, and the storm does not care. If you want to survive, no, if you want to thrive, you must tear off the mask. You must see virtue not as your shield but as your sword, to be wielded when it serves you and abandoned when it betrays you. Because those who cling to goodness for its own sake are not remembered as heroes, they are forgotten as victims. Machiavelli's dark mirror exposing the savage truths of human nature. Most people want to believe in the goodness of others. They want to believe that loyalty is pure, that love is unconditional, that kindness will be repaid in kind. It is a beautiful dream, but it is a dream built on a foundation of sand. Machiavelli smashed that illusion into pieces. He forced the world to stare into a mirror it has spent centuries trying to avoid. Men are ungrateful, fickle, false, cowardly, covetous, he wrote in The Prince. Not because he was bitter, but because he was awake. Because he had the courage to see what most people are too terrified to admit. People are loyal only to their needs. Their love is conditional. Their loyalty is rented, not owned. And when their needs change, so does their allegiance. The truth Machiavelli exposes is brutal and raw. When the world loves you, it is not because of who you are, it is because of what you provide. The moment you no longer serve their desires, the moment you no longer fit their story, you are abandoned, forgotten, replaced. This is why fear endures longer than love, because fear ties itself to survival. It roots itself deep into the primal mind, where survival matters more than sentiment. Love is a luxury. Fear is a necessity. The savage truth is that kindness can be forgotten. Favors can be dismissed. Loyalty can be bought. But fear leaves a scar that loyalty cannot erase. Those who understand this do not waste their lives chasing the approval of the masses. They do not beg for love. They do not weep when loyalty fades. They command respect, not by being loved, but by ensuring they are feared when necessary. They rise above the childish need to be adored and embrace the adult knowledge that in a world of shifting desires, only power and fear remain constant. Machiavelli's mirror does not lie. It shows us the animal beneath the mask. It forces us to understand. If you wish to move men, you must reach the place where words end and instincts begin, not in their hearts, but in their fears. It's psychology of control, how power manipulates the heart and shatters the mind. Control is not maintained through force alone. It is not just about swords, prisons, or armies. Real power moves invisibly, through the mind, through the emotions, through the deepest fractures in the human soul. Machiavelli understood this with chilling clarity. He saw that to truly rule, you must become a master of the unseen currents that drive people, not merely commanding their actions, but colonizing their hearts. Not simply silencing their rebellion, but making them grateful for their chains, he wrote in The Prince. The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present. In other words, loyalty is temporary, promises are tools. Trust is a weapon to be wielded, and when necessary, discarded without mercy. In the psychology of control is simple and merciless. People do not need the truth, they need belief. They do not need freedom, they need the illusion of choice. To break a man, you do not simply crush him. You make him question himself. You twist his hopes into fears. You turn his love into dependency, and his dependency into obedience. To bind someone to you, you must understand what they cannot live without, and make yourself the gatekeeper of that need. Some hunger for approval, some for safety, some for meaning. When you control what they crave, you control them. When you become the source of their salvation, or the threat to their survival, you own not just their actions, but their dreams, their guilt, their very identity. This is the true battlefield of power, the invisible wars fought inside human hearts. Those who remain naive, who think kindness alone will win loyalty, will forever be the pawns of those who understand the darker laws. Because to rule is not to be loved, it is to be necessary. It is to be feared, not out of hatred, but out of primal recognition. Without you, they would be nothing. Machiavelli's genius was not in teaching cruelty, but in revealing the uncomfortable truth. He who controls the mind, controls the man. He who controls the heart, controls the world. Emotional detachment, why the coldest heart wields the strongest hand. If you wish to rule, truly rule, you must first conquer the greatest enemy, your own heart. Machiavelli understood something that most people spend their lives running from. Compassion, unchecked, will betray you. Pity will make you hesitate when you must strike. Love will blind you when you must see with merciless clarity. He wrote in The Prince, "It is much safer to be feared than loved, if one must choose. Because love makes you vulnerable, fear keeps you alive. The heart, left unguarded, becomes a chain around your neck. The very people you love can and will use that love to bind you, to bend you, to weaken you when you cannot afford to be weak." Emotional detachment is not cruelty for cruelty's sake. It is clarity. It is the refusal to drown in the chaos of other people's needs, lies, and betrayals. It is the understanding that to lead, to build, to conquer, you must first master yourself. Not by becoming a machine, but by becoming something more rare, more feared. A being who feels but is not ruled by feeling. A man or woman who can listen to the screams of the desperate, the pleading of the weak, and still do what must be done. Not because it is easy, but because it is necessary. Compassion in excess is the weapon your enemies will use against you. It will be the wedge they drive into your decisions. It will be the hesitation they need to tear you down. But calculation, cold, clear, relentless, will carry you through the storms that destroy lesser souls. It is not the warm-hearted who reshape the world. It is the cold-blooded visionaries who see what must be sacrificed and have the strength to make the cut. The coldest heart wields the strongest hand, because it does not tremble when the world begs for mercy. It does not flinch when destiny demands blood. Machiavelli did not celebrate cruelty. He revealed the iron law. Only those who can kill their illusions will ever rule their reality. The cost of ruthlessness. What you must kill inside yourself to truly rule. Power is never free. It demands blood, and the first blood it demands is always your own. Machiavelli understood the devastating truth that few dare to even whisper. The price of dominance is not something external. It is the slow, brutal death of something inside you. Your innocence. He wrote in The Prince. A prince never lacks legitimate reasons to break his promise, because in the arena of survival, promises, ideals, and innocence are luxuries you cannot afford. To rise, you must be willing to tear down the soft parts of yourself, the part that still believes in fairness, the part that still waits for justice, the part that still wants to be loved without condition. You must slaughter the child inside you who cries for safety and fairness. You must harden the parts that the world can exploit. You must kill the instinct that begs for approval and build in its place a ruthless sovereignty, because those who cling to innocence in a brutal world are not heroes. They are sacrifices. Every step toward true power costs you a piece of who you once were, the dreams you once held, the gentle trust you once carried like a torch into the dark. And when that torch is extinguished, when the soft, idealistic parts of you lie broken at your feet, you are left standing alone in the cold. But you are also left standing unbreakable. You see the world as it is, not as you wish it to be. You understand that betrayal is not a rare horror, but a common currency. You stop asking why cruelty exists and start asking how to survive it and use it. The cost of ruthlessness is high, but the cost of naivete is far higher. You can mourn the loss of your innocence. You can grieve the person you had to kill to become who you are. But you cannot turn back, because once you have seen the world through ruthless eyes, once you have moved pieces on the board without mercy, once you have tasted the iron truth beneath the lies, you are no longer prey. You are a predator in a world of sleeping sheep. And that, as Machiavelli knew, is the only way to truly rule. He does not shed. Once it opens, it decides even one without it. There comes a moment in every life when the mask falls away, when you see the world not as you wish it to be, but as it truly is. And in that moment you face a choice so brutal, so absolute, that most shrink from it. Either you master the game of power, or you become its pawn. Machiavelli understood this truth in a way that still rattles the bones of history. He wrote, "He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. Not hope, not plead, not inspire with empty virtues. Command, rule, conquer, because power does not flow to the good, it flows to the strong, and strength is not given. It is taken, it is forged, it is earned in the furnace of pain, betrayal, and brutal self-mastery. If you refuse to learn the laws of power, you will serve those who have. You will bend your knee without even knowing it. You will spend your life resenting those who moved when you hesitated, who struck when you doubted, who rose while you clung to your illusions. And no amount of goodness, kindness, or pure intentions will save you, because in the end, the game cares nothing for your heart. It respects only your will. This is the savage beauty of the world. It does not reward innocence. It rewards those who have killed the parts of themselves that make them weak, and built in their place a will so sharp it cuts through the lies, the betrayals, the chaos. You must choose. Cling to your comforting dreams and be ruled, or awaken, harden, learn, and become one of the few who rule themselves, and thus rule everything around them. Machiavelli did not write for cowards. He wrote for those willing to stand alone against the tides, for those who would rather be feared and free than loved and enslaved. This is the way of true power. It is merciless, it is lonely, it is real. The world is not waiting to save you. It is waiting to see what you will become. Choose before the choice is made for you. If you do not master the game, you will be mastered by those who have, and there will be no mercy for the unprepared. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because this journey is just beginning and we're going deeper together. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever glimpsed your shadow? What part of yourself are you ready to reclaim? I would love to hear your story. Your darkness holds your light, and your story could light the way for someone else.